Hi, I'm Mr. Brand, and these are my 3 kids. And this is our Toyota Highlander. Let's see if this will fit the fan. There can be only one! Okay, maybe not only one, considering this is Toyota's most popular SUV. So we're gonna look at a 2015 Highlander today, or should I say, a Highlander. And we're gonna be checking out this 3-row SUV that comes with a V6. It's got plenty of spunk, and what's great is from my initial drive, lots of great little cubbies and features, things that make parenting a little bit easier. But let's see, once we put the car seats in there, will it fit the fam? Now, as for how the Highlander fits with the infant seat in the second row, there's plenty of room. I do have to move my seat up a little bit just because, you know, it's a mid-size SUV, but not as far up as I have in other vehicles of similar size. So overall, I would love to go on a nice road trip in this, and I could fit very comfortably. As for the passenger side on the Highlander, without the steering wheel and foot controls, of course you have a lot of great leg room and space. The only minor complaint I have is the fact that it has this little tray in front of the passenger, which is great for storing stuff. It takes up a little bit more knee room than I was expecting, but overall, the Highlander takes all 3 rows into account, which most mid-size SUVs, they lose legroom in the second row when you put in a third row. But in this car, every row seems to have its own amount, and the third row, well, it's just for children. I probably would stay out of that row if I were you. But you know what? For a front row, as a parent, this is perfect. The Highlander has one of the highest ground clearance in its class, at 8 inches. This shows up when your child tries to get in the second row. As with many in its class, the only place to grab is a dirty, greasy pinch point and flimsy seatback pockets. As for the latch, it's down in a pocket that makes it pretty hard to buckle without practice. When it comes to the Highlander, I was very surprised by how wide this second row is. My car seats fit with exceptional amount of room to spare, more than I was expecting. The issues I run into with this though is the fact that they put the air conditioning controls for the rear right at the feet of whatever child is in the center. So my daughter tends to close vents with her feet by accident. You won't have to worry about that in this car because the vents are on the roof. But you will have to deal with the fact that she's going to be constantly turning it off or turning up the heat or any number of other things. The other thing that we've talked about on this car is the fact that with 3 car seats installed, I can't get into the back seat. The seat belts are attached to the C-pillars, not on the seats themselves, so I can't move these car seats forward and backward in order to get into that rear. Also, there's only a top tether in the center position, the third row, so even if I wanted to put a seat back there, I don't feel comfortable even putting a seat because there's not enough room for my child at 5 years old to sit there comfortably. What's funny is once she's in a booster or once she's even beyond that, sure, I could stuff them back there for 10 or 15 minutes. I wouldn't feel too bad about it. So overall though, this second and first row, that's pretty much where I would put the money on this car. As for the roll under test, the floor back here, the entire thing is flat. So yes, bottles and snack containers can go underneath. There's a really big gap underneath the front passenger seat, but to retrieve them is easy. It's not gonna go too far one way or the other. Also, the floor mats, though held down by these little teeth, they're not gonna move too much because they actually go the entire length of the back. So the entire back seat is covered by one continuous floor mat, which I'm really impressed with. You don't have to worry about tweaking or moving much. It protects the entire back seat floor area. Now, one of my favorite features on the Highlander is the fact that it has the opening glass gate. Now, I think every single SUV should have this, especially when it's a 3-row, because if you have something in the back, say a stroller, you don't have to worry about that falling out just to put like a diaper bag or a couple bags of groceries in the bag. That being said, it does have a power lift gate, so you can press that as you walk up. It just takes a little while. So the lift gate takes a little bit of time, but you know what? That's the price you pay to be able to have that convenience, so I'm okay with it. Now, this is a 3-row SUV, so you have only about 20 inches from the lift gate to the back of these seats. So it's some compact space, but enough that you could get, you know, maybe a week's worth of groceries or a stroller and some other accessories in here. Also, underneath, we do have a small amount of additional storage. Now, this is not going to fit, you know, a full outing's worth of storage, but you could fit a couple extra diapers or just a couple change of clothes just for those extra outings that you aren't expecting. Hey, you know what? The stroller fits. I would say go with this car all day long, or not if you need the third row up all the time. Now let's check it out with the third row down. To get the third row down, all you have to do is pull on these top tethers. With that third row down, you do have additional space back here. It's a good amount. Again, I think I touched on it earlier. Basically, because they separate the first row and second row, you do lose some of this cargo space. So they made it comfortable for that second row and the first row, with the constraint of you're not going to have nearly as much storage or nearly as much space for that third row. Overall, I would say for a midsize, this is a great passenger vehicle, not a great cargo vehicle. Now, something the Highlander does hide is an insanely huge center console. It's got 2 sections that open up, and then you have this center tray. All told, it's probably close to 18 inches deep. Getting into the third row just means pulling this lever here and pushing forward. The one issue you run into is this car has a aftermarket rear seat entertainment, and unfortunately this has already cracked one of the screens as the headrest hits it. There's a good reason the Highlander is a top seller in its class. With its first and second rows being roomy and the third actually usable, its reliable nature, an engine that will get moving when asked, and finally, a style that may not look like a sports car, but it's hard to lose in a parking lot. I consider this a very competent family hauler. Hey, thanks for watching our review today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when the next videos are being posted. Also, comment below. Let me know what kind of cars you want me to check out and see what can fit your family.